There once was a man who made a deal with the devil in an effort to fight monsters that have invaded the city. He does this to protect his family, whom he loves very much. He gave up his dreams of becoming an athlete or anything else for his family. He does this to continue helping his parents, running their business, and usher his younger siblings to the path they choose. That's Kamen Rider Revice as a whole. No one can never go. 悪魔のささやきを超え手には負えない現実追い詰められちょうどクリア神にも見放されし心の隙狙われ物差し Greetings everyone, this is Under the Sun and I'm your host Riku. Kamen Rider Revice has just concluded, and the one big question that's in everyone's minds right now is, did it suck? The short answer is no. Personally, I give Kamen Rider Revice an 8.5 out of 10. It's an incredibly enjoyable Kamen Rider series. It has its lows and highs, and when it does reach its highs, it reaches to the sky. Spoilers galore past here. If you haven't caught up, now's your chance to click off the video. Still here? Then good. Another warning, spoilers galore past here. Okay. Kamen Rider Revice is ultimately a story about family. Ikki is our main protagonist. His main reason for making a deal with the devil was to protect his family from the monsters that have invaded and disrupted the ceremony that his younger brother was a part of. And when that deal was reaffirmed, Ikki Igarashi became Kamen Rider Revice. The demon he contracted with was named Vice. Kamen Rider Revice's story excels if they focused more on family, whether it was the Igarashis, the Karizakis, the Kadotas, or the Ushijimas. The show's high points always came from the focus on those family stories. The flaw of the story comes from focusing on too many characters all at once. The way they introduced new Kamen Riders left and right without giving us a room to breathe to get used to them as riders. While I won't say their promotion as a rider was not earned, I think giving them a connection to the main protagonist and to the main theme of the show would have done wonders to the promoted characters. Prime examples are Hirumi, Hana, Hikaru, and Tamaki. If the story had just built a connection between the Igarashis and Ushijimas, instead of just showing how the latter family is spying on the former, maybe the theme of family would have been consistent there. Having Hikaru connected to all three of the Igarashi siblings would have been a great way to show that, as opposed to simply having Sakura as his connection to the family. The Igarashis could have taken in Hikaru once his parents were killed in action, despite his status as a rider, so he could get some time to grieve for his loss, with Yukimi guiding him through the process. It would also explain how he arrived after the Kamen Rider Extreme fight against Crimson Veil. As for Hana and Tamaki, I think subjecting them to Ikki's forgiving nature and his usual nosiness would have been a great way to keep them in the show, as opposed to how they went with it. They made the right decision with Tamaki at first, but I think they should have done the same for Hana. Maybe show Hana and Tamaki how the Igarashis meant to them before they transformed into Kamen Riders over demons and Aguilera respectively. As for Hirumi, he's the best thing to happen to Kamen Rider Revice outside of the Igarashi family. I wish they could have exposited to the audience, in the main show, the main reason why his catchphrase was what it was because it would connect him to the theme of the show. Apart from the disconnected feelings some of the supporting cast has to the main theme of the show, another problem for Revice was its consistency or lack thereof. Consistency of Vice's character, although his initial action of attempting to eat the protagonist's mother could be explained, the consistency of how contracts with demons work, and the consistency of how the whole demon aspect of the show worked. Another flaw is how Giff is kind of a non-entity when they were touted to be the show's main villain that has been present since the Dead Man's arc. Instead, Giff was contented to be in the back seat and let Akaishi do all the work, which contributed to his status as a non-entity to me. For the positives of the show, when the show hits their highs, they really reach for the sky. As mentioned earlier, one of these highs were when the show focuses on family. Another high for the show was Genta's arc, which was, unfortunately, mostly relegated to side content. But it makes sense considering Kamen Rider Revice's main character was Iki and not Genta, although some exposition would have been nice. This arc then culminated to the debut of Kamen Rider This Dream, which has a gorgeous fight scene overall. Even the pre-fight banter with the siblings and the Kaishi fighting in the background made for a superb visual presentation. Another high point for me is how fresh Kamen Rider Revice's storytelling was. In recent memory, Revice is the only story where the hero protagonist has a living set of parents and siblings, and Iki becoming a hero wasn't rooted in tragedy like most hero stories are. Iki becoming a Kamen Rider did not happen at the cost of his family's lives. Add in the fact that the entire family is in the know of his hero identity and is actually supportive. It's just a refreshing take on superhero storytelling. That alone has elevated this show up to the sevens. That, and adding the aforementioned high and low points, I give Kamen Rider Revice an 8.5 out of 10. So no, the show, Kamen Rider Revice, did not suck. To end this review, I will enumerate the names of the Kamen Riders of Kamen Rider Revice. Let's start. Revice, Vice, Live, Evil, John, Demons Hiromi, Demons Olteka, Demons George, Demon Troopers, Over Demons Hikaru, Over Demons Tamaki, Veil, Aguilera, Destream, Juga, Chimera, Daimon.